beautiful, and welcome back to another video. If this is your first time seeing my face, hello, my name is Jazz. I create a lot of content on how to glow up, how to become your best self, so if that sounds like content you're into. If you are focusing on you this year, as you should, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, join the community. I would love to have you. Give this video a like, and definitely, you're gonna hear me say this all throughout the video, comment down below your opinion, your perspective. I want this to be an open discussion because I think this is an integral part of your glow up journey. As you can tell by the title, we are talking all things relationships, long distance relationships, situationships, dating on your glow up journey. Should you be glowing up to attract a partner? How do you attract a like-minded partner? We are talking all of the things. I'm not an expert on this topic, but I do get asked a lot because I am in a very, very healthy and committed long-term relationship, and I love my man, but it took a lot to get here. And I think I did a pretty good job of tracking my dating life with my glow up journey, and I think it's really important to talk about that. So that's what we're doing today. We're doing a good old-fashioned get ready with me. We are going to do our makeup. We are going to chat like we are on FaceTime because we are sisters and we are girls, and this is a safe space to have these type of discussion. As always, don't forget to like this video, comment down below, follow me on Instagram and TikTok. We're going to see a lot of glow up content you won't see on there. I want to get right into the discussion of this video. So without further ado, let's talk about it. Okay, y'all, excuse the hair. We're going to get to it in a minute. But I just finished washing my hair, and then while I was underneath the blow dryer off camera, I did my DIY lash extensions because I know you guys are going to ask about them. These are my favorite ones. I use the Falscara. Everything will be down below, but these are the 100Q. I'll list them down below along with my lash map as well. I also washed my sew-in. This is like brand new hair, and I'm obsessed with it. So right now, all I'm really going to do is spray my edges and my leave out with this Amika Shield. It is an anti-humidity spray, which is perfect for when I work out, but it is heat activated. So you wanna make sure you followed it up with a flat iron, or you're like me, you're gonna press it out. I'm gonna press out my edges. I'm gonna lay my edges, and then we're gonna get to our hair. Oh, and lastly, I'm really only gonna press out my edges. That is the beautiful thing about a sew-in, is that you really only have to do your leave out. And then I'm just gonna put the rest of my hair into some overnight curls while my edges are being laid down. So girl, make sure that food is warmed up. Make sure you got your snacks with you, and make sure you have a little drinky drink. My drink of choice today, y'all have seen this everywhere. This is the Factor Vanilla Cake Shake. It is their keto shake, so it is dairy free. Y'all have seen these in all of my vlogs. I'm obsessed with these. Those of you that are new to this channel, I'm literally like a Factor fanatic. You will see them throughout all of my glow up diaries, and for a very good reason, because I'm obsessed with them. Factor is actually the sponsor of today's video, so thank you so much, Factor, for sponsoring today's video and supporting this community. There is absolutely a reason that you see Factor in all of my videos. It is such a game changer for me, y'all, because you guys know I'm always running around. I'm always filming content, editing content, going to this brand event, traveling, working out, and just like keeping up with this entire glow up lifestyle. That also means cooking every single meal isn't really realistic for me. That is why for years now I've been loving Factor. But if you've never heard of Factor before, Factor delivers fresh, never frozen meals straight to your door. All you have to do is pop them in the microwave for 2 minutes, and you instantly get dietitian approved meals. Makes it so much easier to stay consistent with my wellness routines, especially without falling into like a takeout spiral. Even though I've talked about Factor a lot, what I'm loving right now about Factor is they actually just doubled their menu. They now have over 80 weekly options, including global flavors, premium proteins like salmon and shrimp. You can even swap out proteins with no extra cost. Honestly, I never get bored because there's always something to try. I mean, y'all know me. I order breakfast, lunch, dinner, my juice shots, my shakes, everything is from Factor. But in general, Factor really helps me stay on track without the stress of meal planning. Absolutely love when y'all tag me that you used my Factor code and how much it's been able to take something off your plate. If you too want that code, you can go to factor75.com. I'll also include the link for you down in my description. And you can use my code TurnerFB50. That's gonna get you 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for the year. This is is one of the best deals I've seen Factor have. I mean, free breakfast for a year. I'll include more information down in the description, but thank you so much Factor for sponsoring today's video and supporting this community. Okay, y'all, let us play with some makeup. Let's yap. I really want the center of this conversation to be around dating. I think it's an interesting topic. I think I have an interesting perspective, and I would love to hear your opinion down below. I am gonna mention all of the products that I'm using. Of course, they will all be linked down below. I did my makeup yesterday and I loved my makeup. So I kind of want to recreate it, but even better. Like now I feel like I know how to like work with it. I also have a new microphone set up, a new camera set up, same background, new lighting setup. So definitely if you have any critiques down below, if we like this, do we like the candle in the background? Like, do we like a different angle? Just let me know. I did already do some skin prep. The major things was the Charlotte Tilbury. This is her magic cream. I'm obsessed with this. And then I do like this Lawless Forget the Filler. It's an overnight lip plumping mask. Obviously it's not overnight, but it does give my lips a little tingly feeling, and it does plump them up so that when I finish with my makeup, they are nice and juicy. For actual primer, I'm going in with Danessa Myricks. I saw Uche use this combo. I have not used this combo before. I want to go in with the Danessa Myricks. This is her Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder. Obviously, I have used this before. My T-zone, I want to use the Yummy Skin Water Powder Serum. So that is what we're doing. Again, I will mention what I am using, the shade and everything. But if you want this exact look, all of the links will be down below. So I have so many opinions on this topic. Not only do I have opinions from just like a personal standpoint, you know, on my glow up journey, I have opinions from, you know, watching some of my single friends, watching some of my friends in relationships, and seeing how much a man or a person involving another person into your life, whether it's your boyfriend, situationship, whether it's your ex, whatever it might be, how much that can derail the progress that you make in your life, or which we hope it can accelerate it. Choosing who you spend your time with, and most importantly, choosing who you want to spend the rest of your life with, can either be the biggest blessing that you've ever done for yourself and can take you to new heights and new levels, or it can be the biggest mistake that you make. That's why I do think the topic of dating and relationships within the glow up, leveling up universe is important, because we can do so much work on ourselves, but our real boundaries and our values are tested when we have human connection, when we date, when we form friendships, when we set those boundaries with family. I'm gonna be doing a little bit of underpainting with NARS. This is their soft matte concealer. I have it in medium 3 praline, just a little bit of underpainting. I like doing this to sculpt the face, but you have to be very careful because you don't want to add too much product. So I want to start this conversation, and I don't have all the answers in the world. I just have my opinions. That's why I really want you to leave your opinions down below. I want to talk about the paradox about, you know, the more successful a woman becomes, the less likely or the harder it is for her to find a partner, which I just think is wild. It's like, truly, the more that you work on yourself and the more that you improve yourself, especially in a financial aspect, in a career aspect, the more intimidating it is to men, the more they don't like it, the more they get self-conscious, the more they might even start to try to dim that light. I mean, my ex never outwardly said it, but I think me being in law school, or me getting like a little bit of social media presence towards the end of our relationship, I think that hits on their ego. And it's kind of hard too, because on one hand, the feminine and the masculine, you know, men are supposed to quote unquote lead and provide. I mean, both of us lead in different aspects, you know what I'm talking about. So a man wants to feel wanted. They don't want to feel like you don't need them. Even if you don't need them, they don't want to feel that way. Even if that's not the reality, it's about the emotion, it's about the ego, it's about the masculine. So on one hand, I don't understand where the emotion is coming from, but on another hand, it's like, okay, you feel inadequate, which is kind of like, that's on you, baby. And then it's kind of just like, what are we supposed to do? Just not achieve, just supposed to wait for our knight in shining armor? That doesn't work either, because a lot of these men nowadays are lost boys. Like, I think this is the generation of lost boys. I mean, I know know more successful, rich, wealthy women in their power than I do men. That is just the reality. And I love this era that we're in. I love this new age of women just really, you know, stepping into their power, whether it is in the corporate aspect, whether it's in the personal aspect, whether it is doing the boundaries and the self-healing. And the thing is, not saying that all women are perfect and men are just evil, but overwhelmingly, especially in my circles, it's really sad to see some of my most successful career goal-oriented women struggle in the dating era because of these lost, insecure little boys. This is the foundation we're using today. This is new from Makeup by Mario. This is his natural finish foundation from his Surreal Skin line, and I have it in the color 20N. I used it yesterday. The first time I put it on, I was like, oh, this is not my color. This is dark. Then it really started to set into my skin. Gorgeous, stunning. I want to use it again. I applied it with a brush yesterday. I didn't love that finish, so I'm going to apply it with a really light hand, and I'm gonna apply it with a sponge so I can really press it into the skin. So back to our conversation. Not even just talking career-wise, it can be career-wise. On our glow up journey, I feel like some women start their glow up journey to either get back at an ex to show, you know, that person that they're better and they can improve their life, or they do it for the purpose of attracting a husband, a partner. And I don't know how, but I can always tell. I can always tell when someone's healing journey or when they say they're working on themselves is rooted with the end goal of finding a partner and not to just, you know, become a better woman, a better person to heal your past childhood trauma. I can tell when all of the actions, the glow up actions, is in pursuit of a man. We're gonna do blush first, or cream blush first. This is the Huda Beauty. This is her blush filter. It's a liquid blush in strawberry cream. It's a really, really pretty strawberry pink color. The applicator is kind of weird and it's hard to get some product out, but you really want to place this almost like near the eye. It's so pretty. So, and like you'll find in a lot of this conversation that we're gonna have, we can't win because on one hand, I don't think the root of your glow up journey should be in pursuit of a man. On another hand, I do feel like dating is an integral part of your glow up journey. And I would be remiss to say, like, who doesn't want to work on themselves and then share the life that they've built with another human? Like, who doesn't want that? You can't just be like, I don't need anybody and like F everybody. Like that's not realistic. We're human, we are women, we are built to love. We are literally built to create life and not just like a child, but really pour into people, give life to people. Like that is the power of being a woman. So when we get on the topic of dating, I'll tell you kind of where I was coming from. So I had really lost myself in my past relationship, not only because of that relationship, but because of the things that I allowed and my low self-esteem. And I didn't deserve any of it, but it was also my responsibility to heal from it. It was honestly one of those situations, and I don't know if you've been in this situation, where you will not let go of a relationship, and obviously God sees it impeding in your glow up journey and the life that you're supposed to live. So he will literally make a situation to where you can't do anything but not leave. My situation was so bad and so ugly that staying with him would be disrespecting myself. Like, and everybody has a line, and cheating isn't a line for everybody, unfortunately, as it should be, but it's not. But everybody has that moment that they are done. Like you've crossed me either one too many times, or this is a situation where I feel like staying with you would be literally in disrespect to God and me. And that's the type of situation that I found myself in because I was trying to make it work any way possible, you know? So it's really funny because when I got out of that relationship, I was like, I'm done, I'm spent. I don't want anything to do with men. I am fine being alone literally for the rest of my life. And I wasn't even trying to be dramatic. I was just kind of like, you know what, I'm good. Like, there are really some evil people out into this world, and I don't want anything to do with it. I have a good heart. I can fill my life up with my friends and my family and my career and everything. I was cool off of it, right? So 2 weeks after I ended the relationship with my last relationship, my current boyfriend slid into my DMs. And I had always thought he was super attractive. Like, I literally told my best friend, like a week before he slid into my DMs, I was like, I never want to date again. But if I were to date, it would be this person. And I don't even know why I said that. I was like, I don't even want to date, but it would be this person. Now, I don't know why God made it this way, but he slid into my DMs a week later. And, you know, I was obviously like, oh, I still got the juice. Like, you know when you get out of a relationship and you realize like, oh, I'm that girl, you know what I mean? Like, everybody wants me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you get that kind of boost. So I was really excited that, you know, the one person that I said could get me slid into my DMs. And I've always kind of been the person, and I think I've honestly learned to love this about myself. I will never close myself off from love. I am just not that type of person. Like, even though I said I'm done with men, I was not going to pursue a relationship. But if a good man came into my life, I'm not gonna just be like, nope, I said F men. Like, I'm not that type of personality. Like, if a good person comes in, I'm there. But I'm not about to pursue something and actively date. That's kind of where I was like coming from. And so he slid into my DMs and we talked for 3 months. And then we stopped talking for like 6 months. Cold turkey, no communication, right? And honestly, I was really, really sad at that time because I kind of felt like I just got out of this relationship. Obviously, you wanted me out of this relationship. And now I meet this amazing man, but he just got out of a relationship. He's very much like, I don't want a relationship, but like, I'm really feeling you. Like, it was just it wasn't the right time, but it was the right person. So when we stopped talking for those 6 months, I was like really sad. And I did date around. And you know what? I'm very glad it happened that way. And maybe even he, would have fumbled that relationship if we tried to make it work. Think about it, y'all. I was 2 weeks off of a really horrible, toxic relationship. I had no time to heal. I did not work on myself. I didn't date. I didn't focus on my glow up journey. And honestly, I mean, I had already kind of started my like whole glow up and everything before him. And honestly, towards the end of my toxic relationship, but I felt like God was like, okay, this is your person, but you haven't had enough time to work on yourself to really make this relationship work. I mean, that is in essence our glow up journey. Like, God isn't gonna give us $1 million if we don't know how to budget. God isn't gonna give us our dream man and make it work out if we haven't done the healing to actually keep that relationship. So y'all, I continued on my glow up journey and I dated in those 6 months and I poured into myself and I hung out with my friends and I did what a great single girl did. And you know, there were situations where I would talk to a guy and you know, it would show me red flags in my previous toxic relationship, and that was an opportunity for me to set my boundaries, to practice what I preach, to practice the promises that I wanted to keep to myself. That was a really, really much needed time. And I'm so glad that I truly learned to love myself, but also learned, it solidified even more that I don't need a man, but I want a partner. But the career aspect of it, the financial aspect of it, the self-love aspect of it, I had that on lock. Like, I could love myself. I could travel where I wanted to. I could pay my own bills. Oh wait, I didn't even tell y'all what I was using. This is another Makeup by Mario product. This is their Soft Sculpt Shaping Stick in the color Dark, which I don't even feel like is that dark, but it is very, very pretty. And so I spent those last 6 months just working on myself, and it just so happened that we happened to be in New York during New York Fashion Week. He was here for some type of finance event, and I was here for New York Fashion Week, and he slid into my DMs. He's like, hey, just want to see if you want to get dinner, catch up, see how the past like year has been. And my heart started like beating, and I was like, oh, okay, like low pressure, like whatever, maybe a little sneaky link for the weekend, like rekindle, like I don't know, I didn't really expect like too much. We went to dinner and it's now like our favorite place ever in New York. But I walked in and I remember seeing him, and I remember getting like flushed. I remember getting like, this is my husband. This is my husband. This is my husband. This is my husband. And it's so weird because, you know, when we first started dating, I think there was a lot of cloudiness because I was just off of, you know, a relationship. But when I saw him after 6 months, it was like love at first sight. And I know it wasn't at first sight, but I saw him in a completely different lens because I had really taken the time to love myself again. And honestly, y'all, the rest is like really history from there. Within a few weeks, he flew down to Atlanta, Georgia, because he was living in Boston at the time. I believe he was living in Boston. He flew down to Atlanta with a Tiffany promise ring. And he was like, I want to show you my commitment to this. I want you, and that's the end of it. Like, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Like, I never want to like let this go. Like, this is it. So y'all, we like sat down and we had like almost like a business meeting, right? And we talked about goals. We talked about kids. I asked him like, do you want to have kids? And he was like, no. I said, me either. Perfect. We talked about politics. We talked about religion. We talked about just values and, you know, where we saw our life heading and the life that we wanted to create. Everything was so aligned. And then within 2 months of that, he asked me to be his girlfriend. And we have been dating for 2.5 years. Obviously, we've known each other a bit longer, but we were long distance for those 2.5 years. And now that I live in Jersey City and he lives in Manhattan, this is our first time dating in the same city, which has been fun, which has been exciting. I mean, you can go back and watch my date night vlogs. Like, we could only do that once a month, but the fact that he could just come over and we can just like watch movies, order some takeout. I've learned now, coming from long distance to in person, to appreciate the little things and the little moments, and it filled me up with so much joy. I'm gonna set the creams on my face with a mattifying setting spray. This is the one size. I'm really just using this to keep my makeup on all day. I do get a lot of questions on how long distance dating was. Going in with a Huda Beauty Easy Bake powder. This is their loose baking and setting powder in banana bread. Love this product. But I do get a lot of questions how long distance was. It was easy and hard. It wasn't even hard. I mean, when you have two people that are genuinely just committed and share like-minded values in a like-minded timeline, and you know you're gonna get married, you know you're gonna get engaged, you know you wanna build the life together, then I think long distance works, A, if you have a end goal, like, hey, in 2 years, we expect to be in the same city, and this is the city that we wanna live in. I think B, it works if you both have money. It takes a lot to catch flights. You know, usually, you know, you're traveling together, either hotels. You know, usually the weekends are a little bit more extravagant because you're only seeing each other every other week or, you know, once a month, like him and I. And then obviously, we all know this, you have to have trust. You have to have unbiting trust. You can't just be like, well, my ex did this, so I gotta watch out for this. Like, I mean, subconsciously do that, you know, be a smart woman, but don't go looking for trouble. You know, I was never the type to go through phones or, you know, what is he doing, you know, when I'm not there, and like, we're a long distance. Like, I've never been like that. I've always kind of been like, if God wants me to find something out, then I will. And by this point, I had such a social media presence that, like, if he were to be up to anything, I would have known about it. He's never given me a reason not to trust him, nor have I gone looking for reasons not to trust him just because I was burned in the past. But that really came from that time period of me loving myself. Those 6 months where I was dating and I was really practicing what I was preaching and setting my boundaries. Also, y'all, I'm going in and I'm pressing with my sponge, and I am taking a loose brush and I'm just pressing in the powder just a little bit, setting it, and then we're gonna bake. Baking and setting are different. I mean, you could completely leave the face right here, but if you really want a snatched face, then you can go ahead with a little powder puff like this, and you can set your face for like, I don't know, 1 to 3 minutes. So now we get to this point in my life where, you know, my channel is not a dating channel. It's not a couples channel. I'll give dating advice here and there, but I don't really, because this is my first healthy relationship. I am figuring out, you know, I've grown a lot in being able to communicate. And that's why I'm like, when you get with the right person, a man should get with a baddie and you should become an even more of a baddie. I feel like I have not lost this is the first relationship I have not lost myself in. I want to please him because I want to, not because I feel like if I don't, he's going to leave, or trying to like keep him near me, or trying to prove myself to anybody, because I constantly prove my worth to myself every single day in my little habits, in my little routines, in the way that I speak to myself verbally and internally. I think the way that I pour into myself is one of the main reasons that he's attracted to me, because I don't need him in a survival aspect. I need him in like a feminine way. I also really love how he is a masculine man. Like, I feel taken care of financially. I feel taken care of emotionally. I feel taken care of mentally. I feel taken care of physically. Like, I feel provided for. And I think sometimes when we hear a provider, we think of just financially, but it's so much more than that, because a man can provide financially and can be emotionally abusive. So you can't just want that. Going in with the Got to Be glued, this is their eyebrow. This keeps my eyebrows on fleek all day long. So going back to our conversation with, you know, you're on this glow up journey, you're becoming more and more successful, you know, in your career, and looking at my story, like, how did you find somebody that supports your career, that uplifts you, that isn't intimidated? I think that was self-work he had to do on himself. Like, he's had a few girlfriends, he's been around the block. Like, I don't know why it doesn't occur to men that trying to dim your woman's light makes your life harder, because women naturally want to take care. We want to nurture. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be the breadwinner. I want to have enough money for myself and my mom to take. I want to have my own money. But when I say breadwinner, like, I don't want to feel an obligation that if I don't take care of myself, like, it's all gonna go up in flames. Like, I want to feel taken care of. And that's a big thing that I see sometimes, not all the times, with, you know, really goal-oriented career women, is they won't let somebody take care of them because they don't trust them. It's fine if you've been burned before. Of course, you're not gonna wanna trust people, but you have to trust yourself enough that if things were to go bad, you've got you. So trust other people and know that you always have your back to get yourself back to baseline. I'm gonna do my eyebrows off camera, but I'm going in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is her brow definer in granite. Okay, y'all, eyebrows are on. I'm wiping away the pressed powder with the Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder. This is one a little bit closer to my skin tone. This is in tan 3. Taking the same brush and I'm filling it up with this. This is how I'm gonna powder the rest of my face, but also wipe away that lighter powder so it is so seamless. Bronzer, I'm going in with my Fenty Beauty. This is her Sun Stalker Instant Warmth Bronzer in Caramel Cutie. I also like number 7. I think it's Cocoa Naughty. This is just a little bit lighter because our contour was in dark. I've been liking this to just warm up the face a little bit. Blush, I have been loving this blush. This is the Kosas. This is their wavelength in Blush is Light. It is in this really nice like marble detailing, but it pairs really well with that Huda Beauty. I know you can't completely see the Huda Beauty, but I don't know. This with the Huda Beauty as a base and this creates the prettiest look. Definitely want to make sure you go ahead and redefine your under eye. And then for highlight, I'm just going to do my House Labs. This is her Bio Radiant Gel Powder Gel Powder Highlighter in Peach Quartz. I'm gonna apply a little bit to the bridge of my nose, the tip of my nose, and my high points. I'm saying all of this because my camera says it's about to overheat. So I want to cool it a little bit before we move on to the eyes and the lips and the hair. Okay, y'all, I did the highlight. I did do the eyes a little bit. Very simple, y'all. I just took my bronzer, same bronzer, and then I've been doing brown eyeliner lately. This is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in Demolition with a little bit of bottom mascara. Of course, I'm not gonna leave you hanging for the lips. I know lips are everybody's favorite part. I'm taking MAC Cork. This is their lip pencil. I'm overlining just a little bit, like that. Doing something a little new, and if I hate it, I will take it off. This is the L'Oreal Infallible. This is their Color Riche line in 635 Worth It Medium. It comes on really pink, but it dries down really pretty. You gotta trust me with this right now. I'm gonna add just a smidge of my classic. This is the NYX Lip Lingerie in Turn On. This is what I would normally do, but Turn On has been looking a little dark lately. So we're getting there. Trust the process. Taking a little bit of Kylie Cosmetics and Expose. This is like my regular lip combo. I just used the L'Oreal Infallible to make it a little bit more pink. Okay, y'all, last but not least, I'm taking the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Yummy Blur. And this is in the shade Perfectly Blurred. I don't know, I can't read all that small text. But it is a perfect nude. And I love this stuff for blurring everything out. Imagine this is like a blending brush. And that is how I get my signature look. Something a little different, but it's so pretty. We do need to get a move on. So let us finish this really good conversation. This conversation can go on forever. There's so many different angles and different, takes that you can take with this. I think you should date on your glow up journey. Do I think that you should date right away? No. Do I think that you should focus on yourself? I think you should get to the point of not caring, but going into the dating field, not being like, I need to find my husband or else. Going into the dating to meet friends, to meet like-minded individuals, not putting so much pressure on it, because at the end of the day, you have you. These overnight curls have been so hard to get out of my head lately. I would love to hear from you down below, your experience. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of us was like, I focused on myself first, and then my husband or my boyfriend or my fiance, my partner, came out of nowhere. Like when I was like least kind of looking for a relationship. Those are always like the best ones. Oh my God, look at the hair. Yes. Let's brush this hair out. I curled my hair yesterday very, very loosely. And then I set it in some overnight curls yesterday, and it did not disappoint. I definitely want to let the curls drop a little bit. I'm gonna quickly go get changed, and I will meet you back here. Okay, girl, the curls have dropped a little bit. I am obsessed with this hair. I think the side part might just be my thing. Anyway, I really loved our discussion today. Like I've mentioned before, definitely sound off in the comments. Let me know your opinion. I'd love to create just an open discussion and hear everybody's perspectives. If you want this exact look, I think it turned out so well, and I think it's gonna be really long wearing. I will have all of the links to all of the products down in the description. Again, I want to give a major shout out to the sponsor of this video. I will have more information down in the description. Definitely check out my other videos. I have an amazing series going on right now called 1 Week 2. Basically teach you how to achieve something on your glow up journey in 1 week. 1 week to achieve confidence, 1 week to achieve self-discipline, 1 week to become more attractive. I've gotten a really good response to those videos, so definitely check it out if you haven't. Follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram. You're gonna see a lot of content that you won't see on here, and I will see you in the next week's video. Bye, girl.